All right, guys, we are live today. And what are we talking about? We've got some spells, we got some witchcraft, right? Well, witchcraft, as you know, is the creation of the attachment to the energy in the environment, right? Everything's a little bit off with the angle. All right, so what does that mean? What is it that we're going to do today? And hopefully, I don't drop and break the camera while I'm trying to fiddle with this thing. All right. Well, that's going to be on an angle today. All right. People with ADHD, like with the, yeah, don't mind. Like, I'll fix that later, like for the right in the afternoon conversation. Anyway, today, Damiana, Life Everlasting, and Hibiscus. These are some of my favorite ingredients. Life Everlasting in Cunningham's book has a really fun entry. It says, use in spells of longevity as well as for restoring youth. It is kept in the home or carried to prevent sickness and ill health. And drink an infusion of Life Everlasting every morning before eating or drinking anything else, while saying, chills and ills, pains and banes, do your fasting with Life Everlasting. Isn't that elegant? And this will ensure long life, comparatively free of illness. Now, Life Everlasting is one of those plants that they put into a bunch of beauty products. Actually, there's an entire line of those that people have been discovering as of late, all of the benefits of that plant. Now, with this ingredient, it does carry some side effects that you want to be aware of. Do your homework. There's a lot, especially when you combine it with things like the Damiana. And just be aware that some people do have allergies to hibiscus. Like if you've got high blood pressure and things like that, I would be very wary of the Damiana because it is a vesicle dilator. It will cause extra flu in your body, depending on your predisposition. They use it a lot in the sex pills. That's why I say things like that. Now, the interesting thing about Damiana, according to Cunningham, is that it is used in lust spells. It's also burned to produce visions. So we have a thing that will be burned to increase visions, life everlasting in order to be able to restore youth. And hibiscus is a cooling plant. Like on a hot day, you drink this wonderful drink called Jamaica, and it's like hibiscus lemonade. Shit is wonderful. Um, it's used in lust, it's used in love, and it's used in divination, right? The flowers of a red hibiscus are brewed into a strong tea, which is drunk for its lust-inducing powers. This drink is forbidden to women in Egypt for this very reason. The blossoms have also been used in love incenses and sachets and are placed in wreaths of marriage ceremonies in the tropics. Sorcerers in Dobu in the West Pacific divine in a wooden bowl of water and onto which placed hibiscus flowers. So used in divinations. So what better way to make a tea for this application than our very own usage of it, right? And so while this is not the tea of the herbs that I am drinking today, it is one of those wonderful flowering teas. This one, I believe, is, I'll have to get the name of it, but it's just absolutely delicious. So anyway, my friends, when you're making this tea blend, when you're making the, what do I call it, a tea blend? An infusion, right? When you're doing an infusion of plants, gentle infusions are different than a decoction. A decoction is where you're going to leave the ingredient in for a few days, right? It's where you're going to get as many of the virtues of that ingredient out of it as possible. And one of the things that I like about this particular blend is that I have used it before, and I do find it kind of vision inducing. And what do I mean by vision inducing? Well, if you've heard me talk about the psychicism and the application of the sight between different ways of being, right? There is the study and the application of doing it hardcore in a professional service. There is the application of doing it for a necromantic purpose. There is, like, you're dealing with a spirit, like Paul is dealing with Frederic, right? When he's got the summoning bowl of the water and he had it inscribed with the particular passages. and he put the ingredients on the water, and he was able to divine with it. It's the same technique that we're talking about that you can use with these ingredients. And so you can create a bowl of water that's got these ingredients in it. And if you consume of the water, then you consume of the spirit that's within it, so that you create a relationship between you, take what into you need from that spirit that you have that's blessing through these ingredients. Right? And so when you're creating that link between the spirit world and your world, right? And you're using tea as an intermediary, then you can do this. Good morning, Mike. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. So, like I said, hibiscus, Damiana, and the life everlasting. The life everlasting is going to be that first ingredient because you're pulling upon the eternal aspect of nature, right? And so by including this in your blend, that's what we'll add first. And this is what I'm actually going to make a tea in for later today. So I'll do a small pinch of the life everlasting flowers. It kind of tastes like honey once you drink it. And then there's the Damiana. Again, mind your allergies with all this stuff, folks. This shit isn't a joke. With the Damiana, you're going to go and you're going to put that in next, because you want to have the relationship between that which is life everlasting and that which is your blood flow, right? And so you're putting those two together with the energy that moves through your body. And then you've got the hibiscus. This is fantastic because it just adds that extra dimension of bond between this world and the other world. And so when you put these two together, with the pairing of the life everlasting and the hibiscus and the Damiana, this is just a nice, elegant way to get yourself into a meditative trance where it's not a hot trance, whereas if you add yarrow, you'll start to sweat. Whereas if you add the hibiscus, it'll help to cool your body. It's like on a hot day, this is what you would drink, right? Or if you're trying to get into a cool Cthulhonic like space, and you want to get like the chill of the grave and that sort of thing, you can use this for necromantic work as well. And so if I was to put rainwater into this and use it as a scrying surface and conjure the spirits of these plants or of nature into that bowl of water, or into my mortar if I don't want to use a bowl, like the amount of magic that these things deal with is just quite fantastic. Like they develop personalities for what they like and what they don't like to grind. Like you'll know, like, oh, I should use the granite one if I'm ever using cat's claw, or like the barks, or like these kinds of things. Whereas like the flowers and the floofy stuff, porcelain is just fine, right? But it's just the way that it grips and the way that you find that it works best for your purposes. Learning the personality or the persona behind what's easier to do with that tool is part of learning the nature of what the spirit of that tool likes to do. Like the granite is the hardworking, like it will grind through the herbs, it will grind through the roots. Whereas the porcelain one, it will grind everything down, and it likes to make a powder. It likes to make it fine. It likes to make it a little bit cleaner, right? Just because of just because you can get a little bit finer grind of it, right? Versus the more robust application of the granite. And so when, again, you're playing back and forth between these relationships with your tools, but also with the ingredients thereof, right? So just be aware of your allergies when you take this stuff in, guys, when you bring this stuff into your body. Because with something like this, you're vision inducing, you're dreaming of the things you love to do or the love of things you want, but you can use it to the base of other spells for manifestation. So like if you were going to make an infusion of this and use that as the base for watercolor paints, then you have the means to incorporate that magic into your painting, that magic into the talisman, that magic into the art that you're doing. And so depending on what your background is, you have that application to be able to apply these kinds of magical ingredients to the static art that you're doing, so that the static art you're doing becomes a gateway into your pandemonia, into your phantasmagoria, into your dreamscape, into the worlds of the other side. And so by being able to have that kind of thing, you're outside of the box. You're outside of time space when you're creating these kinds of links. And that's the thing I'm talking about. That's the space of visions. Where are you so in depth in your flow of doing that you allow yourself the calmness to connect to that thing so totally and so beautifully that using a tea blend like this to relax your body, to stimulate the blood flow, right? And to get into communion with that other side, with that other type of world, that's the kind of thing that helps facilitate the pre-work before you start doing vision conjurations and things like that, right? And then if you're drinking coffee instead of tea, it's going to create a different kind of stimuli, right? Coffee is going to ramp up your body so that you can get the day done, right? Tea is the more relaxed, right? But certain kinds of tea can make you hot. Certain types of tea can make you cold. Certain types of tea can stimulate the blood and the passions, and certain types of tea can put you to sleep, right? And so it's the play back and forth between these two as you prep for your ritual environment. So just be aware of this stuff, guys, and stay safe and mind your allergies, all right? I will see you guys in a little while for the Right in the Afternoon. Yesterday, if you didn't get a chance to see it, Trevor was supposed to post it up into the workshop group, but he and I did a conversation that was absolutely fantastic about books, and we're going to nerd out about a little bit more depth on that later today as well. I've also got some screenshots between his and my conversation, as well as the conversation with Daniel in relation to the conversation I had with Trevor, just to demonstrate the multi-layer conversations that occur within the Brotherhood and between the Academy of Sorcery Project and all of these different things for community building and teaching this stuff, because there's a bunch of things that are available that I just don't have time in the day to articulate, or I don't have the wording to articulate to stimulate this particular audience to do a particular thing, right? I just said, fuck it. And I'm just going to go, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. And it's going to be the most nerdy shit you'll probably think of, but it's the depth of why I do it, right? And if you haven't gotten a chance to see it yet, I definitely recommend you check out the videos that Mike has been doing. So he's got his Divine Sorcerer channel, and a couple of days ago, he did the discussion between cannabis and faith, and it was a really fun video. And so I definitely recommend you check that out. Sign his petition, get things moving. All right. So y'all be safe. Don't be fucking evil, and help a brother out. Right. Like, let's get some shit done. Let's change the fucking planet. Right. We can do it. Many hands together anyway. Make light the work. Right. Anyway, y'all, don't be evil, and I'll catch you for the Right in the Afternoon. Till then, bye for now, y'all.